I have a great one for you all today. It is a $10,000 grant. And so a grant this large doesn't come around too often. Plus, there's a special bonus or a special way you can get an additional $30,000. And so if you're new to my channel, my name is Darcy and I'll help you get wealthy with passive income. A great way to generate passive income is through a business. And so if you need a little capital to get started, grants is a great way to fund your business. And so if you're new to grants, grants are debt-free funding that you can use to grow your business. And so unlike traditional types of funding like loans and business credit, with grants, you don't have to pay the money back. You just have to be in the know. And that's why I know you follow me, because I got the connect and I'm gonna let you in on it so that you can win as well. If you're ready to win grants like this $10,000 grant, there's a few steps that you wanna do to set yourself up for success. The first step and the most important step is to develop a winning mindset. Once this video is over, I need you to run to a mirror and tell yourself that you are worth investing in and that any organization would be lucky to invest in you and your business. And so you gotta speak positivity and life into your situation and into the grant application, because they wanna know that when they invest in you, you're gonna use that money to grow your business. And so positivity and self-belief is very important for you to have before you go into any grant application. The second step that I've seen successful grant winners do, and I know it costs some money, is secure an LLC. And so an LLC stands for a limited liability company. This is by far the easiest legal entity to set up with your Secretary of State. And in the past 10 years, the process of forming an LLC has gotten even easier because of business formation companies. And I've linked more information on Taylor Brands, which is one of the best ones, in the description below. Once you have an LLC, it's now time to open up a business checking account. This is going to be a dedicated business account that's separate from your personal accounts. And so any income or expenses that you have in your business will flow through this account. And by far one of the best business accounts for business owners that need funding is Bluevine, as they offer credit cards, loans, and lines of credit. I left a link in the description for you to have easy access. And so if you've gotten to this point, you are ready to apply to this grant, as you have the foundation in place to start winning grants. Because I don't want you to just win this $10,000 grant. I want you to win the $20,000 grant, the $50,000 grant, even the $1 million grant that has run for at least 5 years now. If you're interested in knowing what this $1 million grant is, you'll have to comment the secret code that I'll mention at the end of this video. And so you need to know that all the funding you need is out there and available to you. You just gotta tap in. And so what's great about this grant is that 400 business owners will take home $10,000. And so if you qualify for this grant, you're gonna wanna run to the application, as this is a huge opportunity. And a grant like this is one you want to apply for. If you happen to be new to grants, I'm gonna share with you real quick a secret tip. And so the grants that you want to go after are the ones that have a high number of winners, because that means you have a higher likelihood of winning. And if you want to increase your chances of winning even more, you want to look at previous grant winners. And so what I would recommend that you do, and all the business owners that I work with, is do a deep dive research on the previous grant winners. I want you to look for the type of business they had, what project did they use the grant funds for, and how big is their social media presence. And so what I want you to see is that they're a small business owner just like you. And so you're going to take that inspiration and channel it into your grant application. Another tip that I have for you when it comes to grant applications, you do want to read the FAQ, or frequently asked questions section. In addition, you want to look out for any webinars or videos that go into more detail about the grant. And so what's great about this $10,000 grant is that they do have a webinar that's led by the grant sponsor. And so they're going to share with you some secret hacks that are really going to help make your grant application stand out. So I do recommend you watch it. Now let's talk about the grant timeline. or the key dates you need to know about this grant.
And so the first key date that you want to know is the application deadline. And that is this Thursday, July 31st at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. You want to make sure you have this marked on your calendar. Secondly is the review period. This is the time that the grant judges are going to review all grant applications and reach out through email if they have any follow-up questions. And so you want to make sure you're checking your email during this time. And so the review period will be from August to September. Then we have when the grant winners will be announced, and that will be during the month of October. And so if you win the grant, I want to celebrate with you. Let me know. Let's have a party. Next, you want to know the spending deadline. And so you have until December 31st to spend the $10,000. If by chance you don't carry out your project by this date, then you forfeit your chances of winning the $30,000 grant, which we don't want to have happen. So this is a very important date to mark on your calendar as well. Then we have the grant report deadline. And so this is where you're going to send the grant sponsors a detailed outline on how you spent the $10,000. And so this is a very important document because it shows proof that you actually spent the grant money on what you said you were going to spend it on. And I need you to know, this grant organization doesn't play. And so you want to make sure to spend some extra time really thinking through your grant application.
And so before you dive in, I want to share with you real quick some common mistakes that I see grant applicants make. The first mistake I see is grant applicants not aligning their responses to the grant organization's mission. And so if the grant organization says that they care about giving back to the community, it's very important that you include how you plan on giving back in your application as well. And so you want to make sure you're aligned with their mission and values. The second mistake I see grant applicants make is not giving complete responses to the grant application question. And so if a short response question says use 250 words, you want to try to get as close to that 250 word count, but not over as you can. And so a response of 100 words or 50 words is not a quality response. But I know you're going to give great responses on your grant application. And then the last mistake, but very important, that I see business owners do is not give a clear breakdown on how they plan on using the grant fund. And what I like about this grant is that they've clearly broken down all the different ways that you can apply this grant. I'm going to leave it up right here so that you can take a picture. And so if you avoid these 3 mistakes, you are by far steps ahead of other grant applicants. Now let's talk about the grant requirements. This is criteria that you and your business need to meet in order to be eligible to apply to this grant.
And so for the first requirement, the business owner does need to fill out the application. If you have a grant writer that's doing it for you, they do ask for the grant writer's name and contact information. The grant applicant also needs to be over the age of 18. This is a typical requirement that I've found across other grants as well. Next, your business must have a physical location and operate in an older or historic street, downtown, or commercial district in the U.S. In addition, your business must have been in operation since January 1st of 2024 and located at that physical location since January 1st of 2025. For the next requirement, you must run an independent business that's not part of a franchise or nonprofit organization, and you must employ 20 or fewer full-time employees. Lastly, your business must be in good standing and have all required business licenses. And so if your business meets all of these requirements, you should 100% apply to this $10,000 grant.
The secret code is winner. And so if you're wondering how you can get your hands on an additional $30,000, I have the answers. And so what you do need to do is be one of the $10,000 winners. And so if you successfully win the $10,000 grant and carry out the grant project successfully, you will then be able to apply to their $30,000 enhancement grant. And so with this one organization, you could be walking away with $40,000 in debt-free funding. All I ask is a like, subscribe, and share this with a friend that could benefit from this grant. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and make sure to check out this video right here for the best business checking account.